Hello, it is I. Now when car manufacturers introduce a brand new car, which ends up being a marketing success, they celebrate it. Usually by making a special limited edition version of the car. Some of these special edition cars can look incredibly good, some could look pretty boring, whereas others are just straight up weird. So here are 10 strange special edition cars you've probably never heard of. Now before getting into this video... Oh, stop falling off your chair all the time. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I just wanted more followers. Get it? Followers, like followers, subscribers, Instagram followers.
Why do people even watch this?
4,000 likes is the target as per usual. Liking the video is free and it helps out so much more than you can imagine. And seeing as over half of you guys watching have not subscribed, what? Do consider subscribing to the channel. We are on the road to 200k and I love having new faces here in the channel. Thank you very much, and now let's get to the first car, which is the Häkkinen edition Mercedes A160. Now over the years, car manufacturers have made special edition cars dedicated to racing drivers. For example, Mitsubishi made a Tommi Mäkinen edition Lancer Evo, Subaru made a Colin McRae edition Impreza, there was an Alonso edition Ferrari back in 2011, and McLaren made a whole new hypercar named after Ayrton Senna. All these really cool legendary cars named after legendary drivers, but none quite as legendary as this one. As in 1999, Mercedes dedicated an A160 to the 2-time World Championship winning Formula 1 driver Mika Häkkinen. And just look at the car. It featured a full red leather interior with Häkkinen edition badges, this iconic Formula 1 inspired livery, and these large 5-spoke alloy wheels. Also, something I find pretty funny about this car is that not all Häkkinen edition cars came with these sporty wheels. Some of these cars came with steelies with hubcaps, which is so weird to see on a car with an F1 livery. So yeah, did you know that Mercedes made this car? Let me know in the comments down below. The SsangYong Korando Sports DMZ. SsangYong are a South Korean car manufacturer, known for making the ugliest cars known to mankind. Their cars make the Fiat Multipla look like a masterpiece. Anyways, in 2012, they introduced their brand new SUV slash pickup truck thing called the Korando Sports, and it was not an ugly car for once. And the fact that it was affordable meant it was great for people on a budget who needed a pickup truck. However, it was a very boring car. So in 2016, they introduced the DMZ edition Korando. Yep, it was named after the DMZ that divides North and South Korea. I'm not even making this up. Now you're probably thinking, oh, that's a funny way to disguise the car in case it got seen by the public and people try to get spy shots. But that is not a disguise, it's the actual car. Yep, SsangYong painted one of their cars in this military camo color scheme and put it into production for actual people to buy. And it doesn't even look professionally done. It looks like it's been spray painted on by a bunch of 14-year-olds in the car book of their local Sainsbury's. So yeah, it is quite an odd car, but at least it's interesting, I guess. The Ford Mustang, Jesus, I sounded so northern there. The Ford Mustang McLaren M81. Now when you think of McLaren's collaborations, you think of cars like the McLaren Mercedes SLR, McLaren and BMW's F1 hypercar, and even Renault, Honda and Mercedes power unit Formula 1 cars. Certainly not a Ford Mustang. Well, in 1981 they did just that. Ford teamed up with McLaren to create this limited edition Fox body Mustang, dedicated to one of McLaren's Indy cars from the late 70s. And unlike most special edition cars, which are pretty subtle with letting you know that it is a special edition car, the Mustang, as you can see, is very obnoxious about it. It featured a full wide body kit with a grilleless nose, a massive bonnet scoop, gold BBS alloy wheels, with thick Firestone tyres, and to finish it off, the whole body of this car was painted in this bright orange and grey colour scheme, which is pretty eye-catching to say the least. Now with a car as race car looking as this, you'd expect it to have a big V8 under the bonnet, producing stupid power. But it's powered by a 2.3 litre turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, producing just 175 brake horsepowers. Yep, so if you own one of these cars, don't get into a drag race with a Honda Accord. The Rover 200 BRM. In 1995, Rover introduced their third generation of Rover 200, the R3, and it was a hugely popular car. If you lived in the UK throughout the early 2000s, you would have seen these cars everywhere. So to celebrate its success, Rover in 1997 introduced their limited edition 200 BRM to pay homage to the British Racing Motors Formula 1 team. The car was painted in the same dark green paint used on BRM cars of the 60s, with these sporty 6-spoke alloy wheels, a classy red quilted leather interior, and of course the iconic BRM orange grille to finish it off. And I actually quite like this spec, but what do you guys think of this? Is it too flashy? Does it look a little too cheap? Let me know in the comments down below. The Levi's AMC Gremlin. The AMC Gremlin was introduced in the early 70s as one of America's first ever attempts at a hatchback. You could easily tell it was American as you could get these with a 5-litre V8 engine. Yep, a V8 rear-wheel drive hatchback. How American is that? In fact, it was so popular amongst Americans in 1973 that AMC decided to team up with American jeans company Levi's to create a special edition version of the Gremlin. So what exactly makes this Gremlin a Levi's edition one? Did they just reupholster the interior and the denim they used to make their jeans? Surely that's way too crazy, it wouldn't even be comfortable. Well, that's exactly what they did. The interior was indeed reupholstered in the exact same denim that Levi's used to make their jeans, paired with light blue leather trim and blue carpets. And on top of that, the car was also finished in this light blue and white colour scheme. This is quite literally the bluest car in the world. It's just blue on top of blue, with blue inside, with blue on the outside, with blue inside again. Mate, if 2015's Shmi 150 knew about this car, he would have instantly added it to his collection. So if you love American cars but also have a bit of a jean fetish, the AMC Gremlin by Levi's is the car for you. The Ferrari 365P Berlinetta Speciale. What a long name. Anyways, if you saw this car, you'd probably think that it's a 246 Ferrari Dino. But if I show you another angle, you may notice that something is slightly off. Yep, the car has a huge bunda. Ferrari should have called this a 365 Neville because boy does it have a long bottom. Anyways, that's not the only strange thing about the car, as this Ferrari has a 3-seat configuration. Yep, just like the McLaren F1. I've been thinking about it, this Ferrari is just the 54-year-old version of the McLaren Speedtail. The central seat layout, space for 2 passengers, a really long rear end, is pretty much the same car. The Memphis Style BMW i8. BMW are very famous for their history of creating art cars. I mean, we've seen it with the 3-litre CSL, the E34 5 Series, the E92 M3 GT2 racing car, and Top Gear's 635 CS side thing with a horse's head in the boot. But this isn't just something BMW used to do in the past, they're still doing it now, with their latest art car being the BMW i8, which featured possibly the most chaotic paint job ever seen on a car. I mean, just look at the thing. And if you thought the outside was insane, then just wait till you see the interior. As yep, the madness continues inside too. And to make matters worse, they've also massacred the i3 with this livery too. But I guess that's just modern art and you gotta do what you gotta do to stand out these days. The Arad Fiat 500. Now Fiat have made many special editions of their iconic 500 city car. They have a Gucci one, a GQ one made by Diesel, a Riva one by Giorgio Armani, a Bulgari one. There are so many out there. But all of them could pass as a normal car, as there's nothing obvious about the car which lets you know that it is a special edition one. However, the Arad one, it's quite unique and eye-catching. It was designed by the Israeli industrial designer called Arad, and he gave the car a very ordinary interior, but drew an old Fiat 500 on the side of the car, which is just absurd. And this isn't just a one-off art piece either. There were literally Fiat 500s just like this one driving around right now. I mean, I even found one for sale on Auto Trader. What a strange design. The Iron Man edition Hyundai Kona? Now, to live that Tony Stark Iron Man lifestyle, you'd think you gotta be rich and own hundreds of supercars. But Hyundai says otherwise, as in 2019 they teamed up with Marvel to create an Iron Man edition Hyundai Kona. So what makes this Iron Man edition stand out from all the other regular Konas on the road? Well, it had black and red leather seats with the Stark logo and Iron Man helmet embroidered into it, Marvel badges on the bonnet, arc reactors on the shift knob and speedometer dials, Iron Man helmets on the center caps and key fob, a Tony Stark signature on the dashboard, and a satin grey and dark red colour scheme, which doesn't really make sense. I mean, surely it'd be dark red and gold, but it's whatever, I guess. Now, you might be thinking, a Hyundai Kona? What a weird car to have an Iron Man special edition version of. But what a lot of people don't know about is how similar the Kona's headlights are to Iron Man's eyes. Kind of, I don't know. But yeah, if you want to live out your Tony Stark fantasies without dashing hundreds of thousands into supercars, get an Iron Man edition Kona, as they are pretty much better than an Audi R8 anyways. The Michael Schumacher edition Fiat. Now, remember earlier how I spoke about Mercedes making a Häkkinen edition A-Class? Yeah, well, if you thought that was weird, then listen to this. Because Michael Schumacher, the 7 times world championship winning Formula 1 driver, who has one of, if not the most iconic name in the sport, has a special edition Fiat named after him. Nope, it's not a Fiat Coupe, nor is it something sporty like a Barchetta. It is in fact a Seicento. Yep, possibly the most embarrassing Fiat ever made after the Multipla, has a Schumacher edition variant. So what makes it a Schumacher edition car then? Was it secretly packing a monstrous V10 that was found in Michael Schumacher's F2004 Formula 1 car? Nope, it was powered by a 1.1 litre engine. Was it finished in the same Rosso Corsa paint seen on many iconic Ferraris? Nope, a lot of them came in yellow. In fact, the only factors were the MS sticker on the back, the embroidery in the seats, and that's pretty much it, I guess. So yeah, it's an odd car to dedicate such a legendary racing driver towards, but it is quirky to say the least. And that's the end of the video. Really hope you guys did enjoy it. Did enjoy. If you want to see more videos just like this one, then make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. We are trying to hit 200k by the end of this year, so any help would be greatly appreciated. Also, leave a comment down below, it helps out a lot with the YouTube algorithm, and I'll try and get to as many of you people as I can. Thank you very much, and I'll catch up with you guys very soon. Until next time, have a good one guys, stay safe, stay inside, until next time.
My dinero's what I'm out to get. Sombrero, I get hat and then I'm out again. Got an A1 Chica with a drive like a 3 litre. That's what she needs D for, like the outfit.